friends, my name is Katie. Welcome back to my channel, Life Between Words. Today I want to show you a little tour, I guess, or flip through maybe of my 2021 reading journal. This is the first time I've ever done a reading journal and I'm really proud of it. And so I thought I would show you the journal, maybe talk a little bit about the supplies that I used. Please let me know below if you'd like to see the actual setup of my reading journal. To start off, I used an Archer and Olive journal. I really loved this green. This is sort of like a very dark teal green color, and I loved this color, but they didn't have it in white pages, and I was a little bit reluctant to get the black pages. Let me just show you. So it's got this beautiful gold gold edges, and these black pages on the inside. I knew that it would work out if I had the right supplies, but I wasn't sure whether, I don't know, I just knew that it was going to be a little bit more intense given that I had never put together a reading journal before. Okay, so with that, I will talk about what I did use. So I spent a little bit of money on some acrylograph pens, also from Archer and Olive, because I know that they work really well on black paper. And actually, I will show you the swatches in the back of my journal, but I didn't have all of these when I made the journal. I actually just purchased some more because I loved them so much and they worked so well on the black pages. But as you can see, there's just a plethora of really, really beautiful, rich colors. And so that's what I used. And I will show you in the back the swatches. So I just used a page in the back of my journal for the swatches of the color. This is the Jewel palette, the Warm Fall palette, the Cool Fall palette, and the Tropical. In the journal, you will only see the Jewel palette and the Warm Fall palette because that's all I had when I made the journal. The kind of markers that these are they're called paint markers. There are different brands that you can use, and there are plenty that are much less expensive than the acrylograph ones. But the thing I really liked about the acrylograph ones are the color palettes. They're just so beautiful, and you won't find these particular more muted colors very easily. So anyway, that's why I went with the acrylograph pens, even though they were a little bit pricier. The other tools that I used, before I did anything, I just, used a pencil and I outlined everything that I was going to do before I drew it in, because I don't trust myself enough not to do that. And then also, I just used some plain old white jelly rolls. Can't go wrong with white jelly roll pens on black paper. Anyway, so those are all of the supplies that I used, and now I will just get into the journal. This is just the title page, and I put a sticker that I got on Etsy, and as you can see down here, Fox made his mark on my journal. I was a little bit upset about it at first, but you know what? I will probably look back on this in years to come and remember my little fox and love that little mark that he made. Once again, just sort of a title page. Almost everything that I did, just as a prerequisite, I took my inspiration heavily from things that I've seen other people do. So I think this little stack of books looks very similar to things that you'll see online. I mean, it is, I'm a very good copier. The reading journal side, I think I did this mostly I think on my own. I don't know. I don't even remember actually everything, but yeah. You've probably seen the grid spacing guide. People have asked me whether I find the grid spacing guide to be helpful, and I definitely do. Some of these I didn't use as much, but like when I knew that I wanted to split things into thirds, for example, or fifths, I think I used the fifths one a couple times. The grid spacing guide was so helpful because I don't have to do all the counting every time. So like, oh, I actually need to fill that in. Why don't I just do that while we're filming here? So, for example, If I know I need to split the page into thirds, I know that I have to count 8 from the very last dot, and then skip 1, 8 more, skip 1, 8 more. Pretty simple. And then a quote, an Anne of Green Gables quote, because I love Anne, and I knew that I needed an Anne of Green Gables quote in my reading journal. Dear old world, you are very lovely, and I am glad to be alive in you. And I decided that that was just a lovely quote for 2021, a good thankfulness, gratefulness reminder that, you know, the world is a tough place, but it's also lovely, and I'm glad to be alive in it. Okay, I think I've finished talking about that page. I had to go take care of my baby who started to cry. All right, so this spread is my books read in 2021. We are almost at the end of January, and as you can see, I've read 4 books so far. So, yes, every time I read a book, I fill in one of these little books on the shelf, and then here's my little key. So I've seen a lot of people fill these in with, like, whether it's an audiobook, an ebook, or a physical book, but I mostly read physical books, so that didn't seem like a very great way to fill things in. So instead I'm doing star ratings on this page, because then it'll look a little bit more like a rainbow at the end of the year, hopefully. And I made this little Dutch door book cart, which I love. This spread, it's a dupe, or I copied it from Allison, who is an Instagrammer. Her Instagram page is Books and Bujo, I think. Anyway, she did this spread last year, and I loved it, and I love her spread this year too. You guys should go check her out on Instagram, because her book journal and bullet journaling is just, it's so good. So anyway, it looks a little different than hers, but hers was definitely the inspiration for this. This is my Goodreads challenge. So this year I am challenging myself to read 80 books. You can't really see the numbers very well, but every time I read a book, I fill it in and then write the number. And this, depending on the color, it's either fiction, nonfiction, young adult, or middle grade. So I did categories of books for this. Well, sort of genre / category. I don't know. I wanted to keep track of these things. That seemed the best solution for this page. I also included goals. I didn't set too many goals, because I don't know. If I set too many goals for myself, then I'm just never gonna follow through. So I just have 5 goals. They all fit into this little box. It's read 80 books, 2021 TBR stack, which we'll get to on another page. Read more books than I acquire, which is another spread here. Number 4 is keep up with my reading journal. This is a goal for me because, well, since this is my first reading journal, I just want to make sure that I'm following through. I think I will, because I've had so much fun with it, but I just want to make sure. And then the 5th goal that I have is to do 1 YouTube video per week. I've already failed at that goal because I meant to upload this video or the setup video last week, but it was just so long that it wasn't possible for me. So anyway, my Goodreads challenge. The other thing is I just set up a Storygraph account. So I'm not sure I'm going to be using Goodreads as much, but I still want to just keep track of my reading on Goodreads, and I don't know. I'm going to do Storygraph and Goodreads. We'll see which one I like better moving forward in the future, but I like to set a Goodreads goal, so that's what this page is. This is my future log. So instead of writing out every month and the calendar, which can be so time consuming and tedious, and this journal was already a labor of love, I got these stickers off of Etsy, and I'll link everything down below for you guys. But I just didn't want to take the time to write out all the months and the dates, so I got stickers to save myself some time, and I love the way that turned out. I'm thinking, and this is how I've used it so far I've only wrote things through April, but I'm writing down book releases that I'm looking forward to, or bookish events that I have going on, like we recorded a Valentine's episode, episode, a Valentine's video for Kate Howe's channel in January, so I wrote that down in my January calendar. So that kind of thing is how I'm thinking I will use the future log. Just some pretty washi tape. And then a wish list. So this is more for like backlist titles and other sort of bookish items that I might have my eye on. I don't have a way of keeping track of whether I get them, but maybe I'll just put a little mark next to it. I don't know. I love this dandelion fluff, this dandelion floof that I drew here, because you make a wish when you blow on a dandelion like this, right? So I like that. It's not very bookish, but it's sweet. This is my series tracker. This looks exactly like Tia and All the Books series tracker. I just took this exactly from her. So I have every series that I'm in the middle of. This is the title of the series and then all of the books in the series. And I put a dot next to the ones that I've read. So like in January, I just finished The Beautiful Mystery, so I put a little yellow dot there. And I decided I wanted to be able to keep track of what I read this year. So on the other side, I put dots. These little white dots represent what I read, what I've already read. So anything new that won't have a white dot on it. Yeah. I think that's all. I have room on this page for more series that I might start this year. I wanted to do a spread for my 5-star predictions that I made all the way back in 2016. I have read The Alienist, but that's the only book from this 5-star predictions that I made years ago that I have read yet. And so I wanted to include this because I want to motivate myself to read more from this list, and then every time I make new 5-star predictions, I'll make a new spread like this. I printed out these covers. There's a really cool hack, and I'll just tell you real quick. You use on your phone, you download or upload an image of the book, and then you save that to your images. You use an app like, there's an app called Layout. There's a few different apps where you can lay your pictures out. You put 3 on the top, 3 on the top, and 3 on the bottom in a little square, and then you can go to Shutterfly and print out a 4x4 using that picture that you laid out. And you get 4x4 images for free. You just have to pay for shipping. I don't know if that makes sense, but it was super easy. I don't have a colored printer, so this is the only way that I could do this, and I love it because it actually looks kind of like a photo, and it's just really nice. So that's my 5-star predictions page. I also wanted to be able to keep track of just my 5-star reads. I know that on this spread, I have my 5-star reads, but I want to be able to look at all of my 5-star titles, every book that I've given 5 stars, because at the end of the year, when I make my favorites, when I pick out my favorites, I want to be able to look at all my 5-star reads and say, okay, these are all my 5-star reads, and choose the ones that really stick out to me then. It just seems like a better system than having to like sift through and be like, I don't remember what I rated that book, and then trying to find on here the 5-star books like that are all kind of spread out, rather than just having them all together and being able to see every single 5-star book. So that was the intention of this spread. I really love how this page turned out. I think it's pretty cool. This is one of those spreads that is part of my goals for 2021. I picked out 12 fiction books on my backlist, on my physical TBR, that I want to read in 2021. Last year in 2020, I chose 10 books and I read all 10. This year, I wanted to challenge myself a little bit more and give myself 12. These are 12 fiction books. And then I also have 10 nonfiction books that I want to read. So I just looked at my shelves and picked out the books that I really want to get to this year, books that have been on my list for a really long time that I've been meaning to read and that I'm really looking forward to. So we have News of the World, The Possible World, Silence, Where the Lost Wander, 11/22/63, A Place for Us, Miracle Creek, The Alice Network, Major Pettigrew's Last Stand, There, Whistling Past the Graveyard, and Hum, if you don't know the words. That's for my fiction. And then for my nonfiction to be read, we have The Oregon Trail. This is a New American Journey. Bill Bryson's One Summer, America 1927. Prairie Fires, which is a nonfiction book about Laura Ingalls Wilder. The Sun Does Shine by Anthony Ray Hinton. The Death and Life of the Great Lakes. SPQR, which is a history book about ancient Rome. The Emperor of All Maladies, which is it's called Biography of Cancer. Then we have Anne of Green Gables, My Daughter and Me. Oh my gosh, I just realized that I pasted that in upside down. Oh well. Being Mortal by Atul Gawande, and A Night to Remember, which is an account of the Titanic. I love this spread. So this is best book by month. And so basically what I do is every month I print out the book cover of my favorite book from that month, and I'll post it in here. And then the last 3 are right here. And then I do this book bracket where I put in, they basically compete. So I didn't write the little numbers here, but it's like 1, 5, or like January, May, or whatever. And then I decide which one was my favorite of those 2 books, and that goes here, and then, on and on until I get to my favorite book of the year. I love this spread, and I think it's really functional in terms of determining what my favorite book of the year is. What it does not do well is determine my favorite books from the whole year, because there could be a month where, like, if I were having all my books from May compete with all my books from February, all of my favorite books from May might beat February. So it doesn't do a great job of picking like my top 12 books of the year, but it does do a really good job of picking my favorite book of the year. I don't know if I'm making sense, but in my head this works and I like it. Randy Rereads, who I don't think is the first one to have done the book bracket, but she kind of popularized it, at least for me. She's on Instagram. This year she's calling it Battle of the Books, and I love that too. So anyway, this is my version of it. And I wanted, when you opened up the spread, to be able to see at the end of the year the favorite book of the year. So I made a little Dutch door. It's been a long day. All right, this is my reading overview. This is just a way to keep track of different aspects of my reading. There's more that I would have liked to be able to put on this page that didn't fit. And I don't really know what to do about that. I don't know if maybe next year I'll just add one more page to it, but for this year it's fine. So every month I'll put how many books I read up here. So January it'll probably be 5 or 6, depending on how many books I read over the next few days. This is format, physical, Kindle, audio, and like I said, I mostly read physical books, so as you can see, that's what's filled out here. I was gonna do tallies, but I don't love the way tallies look, so instead I'm going to kind of group them, and every month will be a different color, so you'll be able to keep track of what month I'm talking about, because January I'll use this color. Do you see what I'm saying? So then in February I'll use another color, and so that way you'll be able to keep track of how many physical books did I read in January? Well, you'll be able to see how many male authors did I read in January? You'll be able to see that kind of thing. So I have format, ratings, and once again, I did it by half star. Then we've got genre down here, historical fiction, contemporary romance, mystery, literary, classic, fantasy, etc. Then status, whether it's owned, book of the month, library, or sent to me. I'm not sure I should have put sent to me, because basically if it was sent to me, it's an owned book. And book of the month is owned too, but I wanted to keep track of the book of the month books that I read, pub year, and I doubt I will read anything earlier than 1800, but you never know, and if I do, I can always add another line. This spread is not my prettiest spread, but it may be my most functional spread. So I don't know if you remember this, but one of my goals back here was that I want to read more than I acquire, which means I need I needed to figure out a way to track how many books I'm accumulating versus what I'm getting rid of. So I counted all my unread books. This is my shame. I have 560 unread books. Can you believe that? I cannot believe that, which is why I want to end the year with less than 560 books. So then I've broken it down by month. So here's my January box, and then February, March, etc. So I start the year with 560 unread books. In January, I will write down the total number of books that I either read or unhauled from my unread pile. So unhauled doesn't mean unhauling books that I've already read. It means unhauling books that I have not read yet. And then how many I acquired. So then I will do the math and start February with another book, with another number that is hopefully less than 560, but we'll see. So this is really going to hold me accountable to the number of books that I acquire each month too, because I know that if I acquire more than I've read, then that number is not going to go down. I also wanted a place in my reading journal to keep track of all of my Book of the Month books. So these are not all of the Book of the Month books that I own. These are just all of the Book of the Month books that I haven't read. And even still, this is a lot of books. I've been doing Book of the Month for a long time now, so I've acquired a lot of Book of the Month books that I haven't read. Basically, I just wrote down the title, and when I read the book, I will check it off here, and then every month I will write down the books that I get to. And maybe I will, because I didn't figure out a monthly way. Okay, sorry, I'm thinking out loud, but now I'm wondering if maybe when I add books to this, I should use the color of the month, although I did not do that for January, so it's okay. I love the look of this spread. I just love it. This is another Dutch door spread, and I think it is so cool. It's like this little open book. So neat. These are my 2020 rereads. I do a fair bit of rereading, not enough that it's like there's gonna be 20 books or something, but a handful. I do a handful of rereads every year. My plan is to paste the book cover in here and any thoughts I have about my reread, maybe the star rating, maybe my initial star rating and my star rating during this read. I don't know. I haven't completely decided. All I know is that I want to be able to post the picture of the cover because I just love the way that looks and I think it's really fun. So I have space for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, although I could stretch that because I think I can fit 2 covers on here. I wouldn't be able to include much of my thoughts about the books, but I still could include a star rating. So maybe that's what I'll do. I don't think I'm gonna do 12 rereads, but you never know. And then we get to my January spread. For January, I'm doing, I did a Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe spread with the wardrobe here, and then you can open up the wardrobe and it's a little scene, like stepping through the wardrobe. Here's the coats and then a winter scene. I included the month and then my TBR, and then on the inside of this wardrobe, I'm gonna list the books that I unhauled this month because I do have a stack that I'm gonna get rid of. And then I've got my YouTube videos, so basically I write down my idea and then here I check it off when I filmed it and then check it off when I've uploaded it. This is a little spot for the books that I've hauled. There are probably months when I'm gonna need this to be bigger, but luckily this month I haven't hauled very many books, so we'll see. It's working fine for this month. This page is just my books read. We've got Tumnus and Lucy, and I think I'll probably put a star rating under here, and then I think at the bottom of this page I'll just do like month end, like stats for the end of the month, like how many pages I read total and how many books I read total, and maybe my average star rating. I don't really know. If there's things that you guys think that I should keep track of in terms of the books at the end of the month, let me know. I could either do that at the bottom of this page or I could make another page at the end of the month. And then here we've got my reviews. So far I've only written 2 reviews of the 4 books that I've read, but I'll probably do a little bit of that work tomorrow maybe. And there's a spot for the cover again. And yeah, if you guys have any ideas for other things that you'd like to see me include in my monthly spreads, let me know. I have so far had a really good time filling out this journal, and it was so cathartic. It was such a relaxing experience to create this from start to finish. It took a lot of time. It was a labor of love, but like we're talking hours and hours, which is why my setup video is so long. But like I said, if you guys have any interest in seeing that, I'm not unwilling to post it. I just thought it might be a little too long, but let me know what you guys want me to do with that. And yeah, I'll just do a quick flip through again of all the pages for you guys to look at. It. So let me know what you guys thought of this video. I would love to hear your comments below, and let me know if you want me to post the video of the setup of my journal. Happy to do it. Wasn't sure how much interest there would be for a video that long. So I hope you guys are all doing well. I am really, really proud of this journal. Like I said, it took forever, but it was a labor of love, and I've really enjoyed opening this up every day to use. If you want to see more videos from me, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and let me know if you want me to keep you updated on this journal and do more setups, like monthly spread setups and stuff like that. I'm happy to do it. This is new content for me, but I'm really excited about this. So yeah, I will talk to you all later. Have a great day. Bye.